Sad occasion when we come to the final test match of a summer, but this Cornhill test at the Oval between England and New Zealand has special significance. Not only do the Englishmen need to win to square the series against Jeremy Coney's side, but the team for Australia is to be chosen in not too long a time, and performances in this match will have great significance for the selectors. Well, they came up with this England side for today's game. They left out Peter Willey, his 12th man, as indeed he was in the game at Trent Bridge. They've gone in with a full bowling attack of Gladstone Small, Graham Dilley and Ian Botham as the third seamer, and the two spinners, John Embury and Phil Edmonds. New Zealand have gone in with Richard Hadley. Ewan Chatfield comes back in for Willie Watson, and the change is that Tony Blaine has to come in for the injured Ian Smith. The two spinners are there, Evan Gray and John Bracewell. There was frustration at the start of the morning, 35 minutes delay and 8 overs lost, with bad light and light rain falling here at the Oval, and eventually the umpires were able to get the match underway at 11:35. Mike Gatting won the toss. He put New Zealand into bat, and we pick it up now with the first ball of the 9th over. Gladstone Small and Graham Dilley have been the opening bowlers. Here's Dilley now coming in to bowl to John Wright, and there are 13 runs on the board. And it looked as though it came off the middle of the bat, but it just seemed to me for a moment that Wright was off balance when he played the stroke.
Yes, I think he might have got a bit of a top edge on it, because he wasn't really hooking it up. I.T. Botham, amidst enormous applause, is taking over from the pavilion end.
There's been no question mark against Ian Botham's batting, whilst he's been away from the test scene. He hasn't done all that much with the ball, but he's such a strong fellow. Has such ability that he's able to do anything at all. And a fairy touch. Bruce Edgar is the man to provide the scenario. And Graham Gooch, the man at slip.
Well, I've never seen anything like it in my life. That is quite fantastic. Oh dear, oh dear. No wonder he's got a big smile on his face. It wasn't that bad a delivery for the first one. He hit it in, just short of a length. A little bit of bounce there, and really Bruce Edgar steering it to Graham Gooch, who popped it up. The second one was deliberate, but I don't think he could believe it himself.
Jeff Crowe comes out now to face Botham, who's just joined Dennis Lillee on top of the wicket takers of all time in Test cricket, 355 each, and he may only be one ball away from 356. Well, not quite one ball, but not very far off it.
Another very good delivery, this. Just leaving Jeff Crowe off the wicket, a little edge, and not quite carrying to third slip.
Interesting first over for those gentlemen, the selectors. Welcome back to this match. First over for all of us. It's 21 for 1. It'll be a word from Tom Graveney. Then it'll be Tony Lewis, and I'm just going to catch up on this week's edition of Boys Own Annual.
Well, what a remarkable start for that man.
All along the ground. Here to be played.
Well, the bouncer was very well pitched, just outside that off stump, just getting about head height. But Jeff Crow in good position. But Ian Botham will relish this. Now it's a contest.
Beautifully bowled, right up to the bat. Just the suggestion of in-swing, and Ian Botham has become the greatest wicket taker of all time. He beats Dennis Lillee, and not only jubilation here at the Oval, but I'm sure ripples all around the world as Botham takes his 356th Test wicket, and Jeff Crow is the victim.
So it was the good old 1-2 there, the bouncer and then the threat of the bouncer, but instead the well pitched up in the swinger. The front foot has not gone forward from Jeff Crow. Bat came down too late. So Ian Botham, the top Test wicket taker of all time, 356 wickets. That's 26 times he's taken 5 wickets in innings. He looks as though he might get to 27 if he goes on like this.
Just one more look at Jeff Crow, a man very much informed, deceived by Botham. Pad first.
Now this is the ball that Ian Botham hasn't been able to bowl for a while. This has definitely swung and nipped back. And John Wright just getting the bat there in time. The big shout was because Ian Botham thought that it got to the pad before it got to the bat. So he's bowling fine fettle here.
Not much bounce, but it was the one that went straight on, and it's always the combination of punches that really gets the wicket.
And he went very close to the stumps to deliver this one, and that's how he got John Wright playing at it. This is as good a spell of Botham bowling as you'd want to see.
Alan Lamb has been in marvellous form with Northants since he was left out of the England side. Often does a man a bit of good to get away from it and regain the appetite, I think it is, to score runs again, big innings. Well, that was a marvellous sequence of play. Lovely late in swinger, beautifully played by Martin Crowe, and superbly stopped by Alan Lamb. Beautifully bowled again. Martin Crowe drawn into the drive, but then finding the ball swinging and dipping very late.
Yes, could so easily have got a little inside edge of the corner of the bat into the stumps here. In swinging Yorker.
Oops, Wright is down. Well, John Wright would have had himself only to blame. He didn't want the run, he didn't want to face, didn't want to go. There was a long run there, probably, if they'd set off, and then found himself on that very green patch between those two mown strips.
There's no addition to the score when the players came in for lunch. 35 for 2 at that point, with John Wright battling very, very hard for his 24. No doubt Martin Crowe was with him on 1, but what a tremendous performance by Ian Botham here in his comeback to Test match cricket. Dilley had none for 16, Small none for 8, bowled very well this morning. Botham 2 for 11 in 6 overs and 1 maiden, and what a marvellous thing for him, what a marvellous thing for the spectators who'd paid their money at the gate, and for television watchers as well, to see first of all Botham equal Lillee's record and then go past it to 356. A tremendous performance from him. We pick up play now after lunch. It's the 4th over, 14 runs have been added. Graham Dilley is the bowler, Martin Crowe is taking straight. Didn't quite get that. Does get the 2 runs. Crowe's going to look for a third on Gower's arm, but it won't have gone far enough. 50 up for New Zealand. Early dramas and traumas for them, with both them ripping through, taking the wickets of Edgar and Jeff Crowe. One caught it slip, the other OBW. Very well bowled, and he's gone. That's the advantage of keeping the ball up. Beaten on the forward stroke. And it's 59 for 3, and England are doing very well.
Yes, a tremendous breakthrough this. Martin Crowe whipping that through mid-on. See how the foot's gone across. He's hitting it wide of mid-on, and that would have hit middle and leg without any doubt at all. Middle stump.
A stirring of excitement out there on the field. Gatting and his men will recognise now that they're in with a real chance. Coney to take strike. Dilly the bowler.
Now that's the sign, Tom, of a man in form, when just a little push is so well timed. The ball, even on a big field like this one at the Oval, goes to form.
Yes, he didn't really get his foot to the pitch of the ball. He just swung the bat, and it whistled wide of mid-on. Beautifully timed.
Oh, beautiful fielding, and again the hesitation between New Zealand batsmen. We've seen it right through this tour. They've completely lost confidence in running between the wickets.
Yes, and I'm afraid the captain's at fault. He is one of the worst runners I've seen in this first-class game. Gets himself in an awful tangle, but at least gets himself in the way of the ball.
Oh, lovely shot. Just take a look at the outfield there. It's a real August outfield here at the Oval. There's some bare patches, and the ball skids across that when it's well hit. Phil Edmonds really never made a serious chase. Well, the cheer you hear is for the return of Ian Botham to the England attack. 2 wickets this morning on his comeback test match, and a new hairdo, big day. Oh, bad fielding. Strange lapse by one so accomplished.
Yes, it was a good stroke. Beautifully hit on the up. And you can see David Gower amongst that bit of rough there. The old wickets, and possibly an awkward bounce for him.
Oh, got away with it. Oh, he bowled so well for it. He planned it.
Yes, it's a very high-class piece of bowling, this. He's decided to bang it in, and Coney really doesn't know where he is. Lobs up just short. Just short of Edmonds running in from square cover.
And Gladstone Small, the bowler. Wallop, and that's high in the sky, and that's a marvellous shot by Jeremy Coney. What extraordinary shot. He's come in, he's given them the full range, and that went over long off for 6.
Well, Coney must have taken the view that they're getting bogged down. They've lost 3 wickets, Ian Botham coming back on, that they're in New Zealand, who are a good side, are in danger of sort of going down a little tamely, and he's decided to counter-attack.
Thick edge brings the 100 up for New Zealand. And 3 runs to John Witt. 100 comes up in 233 balls. The second 50 coming up in 85 balls. And 3 wickets down.
That's one of the best shots I've seen here today. It was just a little short arm jab.
Yeah, Kenny's sort of taken a view that Ian Botham with the old ball isn't fast enough to worry him, and he's going for these shots to anything short. Well, that's always well, not a red rag to a bull, but it's going to be a competition now between these two.
To 2 slips and a gully. The gully very deep and very square. In fact, Phil Edmonds is almost at point. Would still call it a catching position. It's there for the fierce slash at the short one outside off stump. Embury is at orthodox point, but quite deep. And he's gone. Whatever the competition might be once Botham gets on, he generally finishes up to pick up, it might be Hilditch from Australia, or it might be Coney from New Zealand, with what on the surface looks to be a long hop. Coney's gone, looked as though he gloved it, and it's 106 for 4.
Well, this must have been that much quicker. Well, strangely enough, I don't think that was the problem. I thought that he'd got it onto him too quick and had beaten him, but almost the reverse. I think Coney had played the stroke, the bat had gone past, and then the ball came along and just lobbed up off his gloves.
Very much the glove, and as Ted Dexter points out, it was because he'd got through the stroke. Gooch taking his second catch. He took the first one to remove Edgar from the very first ball Botham bowled this morning. He has 3 of the 4 wickets to go now. Another real opportunity to take 5 in an innings for England.
Of course, his strike rate is always impressive with so many 5-wicket hauls. But 3 for 30 in 9 is just what England have been missing for most of this season. As he comes in pretty fresh, he hasn't done a lot of bowling this year. He's certainly got plenty of energy.
357 wickets, just a reminder that he's gone past Dennis Lillee today. Lillee, formerly the highest wicket taker in the world, now overtaken by Ian Botham. 85 test matches, 357 wickets, and thousands of runs as well. Evan Gray take a strike. There. Nothing really wrong there with Graham Gooch's throw, even though he has that arm quite heavily bandaged. Gladstone Small, 12 overs, 4 maidens, none for 25. It's to be John Embry to take his place now at the Vauxhall end. 4 men around the bat. It could be out. Should have been out.
And Gray seemed to just get drawn into that shot. Didn't seem to wake up until the last minute that he was going to give it a crack. This was the first ball of a spell, you realise. He suddenly let fly at it, and it's taken Edmonds completely by surprise. Thought he was catching it, but it never really went into the palms of his hands at all.
Oh, beautiful shot.
Good back heel there by Graham Gooch, saving a single. But a beautiful off drive here from Gray. Perfectly executed.
That's a very good shot, and that's also a very good 50 by John Wright. He's been in no hurry, and that's quite right. Essential to New Zealand that they occupy the crease and bat as long as they like, 1 up in the series.
Beautiful on drive this. Well flighted right to the pitch of the ball. Firm strike, straight.
Yes. Just pushed through a bit quicker. So Embury to Gray.
Dickie Bird just having a word with David Shepherd about John Embry running on the wicket, and this is a definite warning. If he does it again, he could be stopped from bowling in the innings.
That's a very good start by Gladstone Small. Not clean, but he did very well to get down there.
Certainly saved 2 runs here. Good shot by John Wright. That's Small diving there, but the ball getting away from him.
After that, 4 more runs were added to take the total up to 142 for 4. Another over was bowled. Then I'm afraid the players came off for rain in light that was very, very gloomy indeed. John Wright, a fine innings there from him. A staunch left-hander was 63 not out at the close. Jeremy Coney batted well for his 38. He won't like the stroke he was out to, and I don't know that too many of the New Zealanders would, but he did play very well whilst he was out there. And Gray, 15 not out, once again showing his courage. 142 for 4, Dilley 1 for 41, Small none for 25, Embury none for 26, and Edmonds none for 14. And Ian Botham, 11 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 36.
Here this morning, bowled 6 overs for 26 runs, found the edge of the bat on 1 occasion. Was short of a slip. He only had 2 slips, and he's got 2 slips again at the moment.
And he's bowling first ball. Oh, what a return. Look at Botham, absolutely delighted. His first wicket in Test match cricket, and what a scalp to get.
This is the way it happened.
And he's got a chance this time, and he's gone this time. So what a great over this for Botham. Finally gets rid of Gavaskar, and he knows what it's all about. So do all his colleagues. There's his 100th wicket in Test match cricket. He's got rid of it by getting out Gavaskar. 99 for 2, Gavaskar out for 59. And I think the big crowd here at Lord's fully aware of the situation. It was a fine catch in the end, brilliantly taken, low down on his left by Brearley. And all the England boys are exceedingly happy about it.
It's in the air, Gatting's under it. Marsh, the batsman, and he's out. Gatting has caught it, a brilliant catch off Botham, who thoroughly deserved the wicket. And Marsh has gone for a dashing 52. And that is Ian Botham's 200th Test match wicket. His 200th wicket in his 41st Test, beating Alec Betts' record for England, which established 200 wickets in 44 Tests.
And he's gone, yes, up goes the finger, and Duzin is out. A nice little lollopy, sloppy catch there to slip, no problem at all. And 3 wickets now for Botham. The applause ringing around the ground now for Ian Botham, because that was his 300th Test match wicket. So what a performance, 4,000 runs and 300 wickets now.
Beautifully bowled, right apart. Just the suggestion of in-swing, and Ian Botham has become the greatest wicket taker of all time. He beats Dennis Lillee, and not only jubilation here at the Oval, but I'm sure ripples all around the world as Botham takes his 356th Test wicket, and Jeff Crowe is the victim.
Triumphant Ian Botham, and we will now put up a little list for the...
Fair. Only 9 runs scored up to the point where we join the 3rd ball of the 8th over, and it's Ian Botham coming into bowl to Evan Gray. It was well bowled, and it needed a last moment adjustment from Evan Gray. Didn't time it properly, still get 3. But he had to make the hurried adjustment for the ball coming in very late in the air. Graham Dilley is going to come in from the Vauxhall end. They're bowling to Evan Gray.
I think we can now say that Evan Gray is a better player of the in-swinger in Botham's end than he is to the one that leaves him.
Well, that's the chance that Gatting has to take. He badly needs wickets and therefore is doing without the 3rd man. Three runs to Evan Gray, and that brings up the 50 partnership. Well, it hit high on the bat and just cleared Alan Lamb at square leg. So that almost worked for Graham Dilley. Just that extra pace from Dilley, of course, and John White a fraction slow on the shot.
And Ian Botham's morning spell not successful, and a change against the Gooch's swing. And that was pretty skillful too. Don't know whether he got a bat on it. Yes, he did. Little leg glance there by Evan Gray. He's a really stuffy player, a good competitor.
And Gooch again getting a little bit of movement down towards the leg stump. That's the way it's been going. think Phil Edmonds felt he was just about to be tipped at the post, so in went the shoulder.
Slightly disappointing first hour for England, not able to make the breakthrough. But must sound very impressed with the way John Wright is playing. Very straight bouncer, but Evan Gray is not going to hook, and I think he was taken by surprise the fact that it didn't really get up terribly high. Whoops, just missed it.
It was the pleasant variation after the shorter balls. Suddenly the Yorker gets through, and Evan Gray, even with the short backlift, found that his off stump was missing.
Yes, very important break, but Gray's done a good job. He's batted 2 hours again for 30. And here's the perfect Yorker. Right into the ball. Just moving that front foot out of the way and letting it through, he would have been LBW anyhow.
Richard Hadlee, properly acclaimed as a magnificent figure in this Test series. There's no man there. Oh, cracking shot, a wonderful stop by David Gower.
Fine piece of cricket this. Richard Hadlee times the ball beautifully. Tremendous shot. And great piece of goalkeeping there by David Gower. He enjoyed that. 187 for 5, and we see spin for the first time this morning. Well bowled. This is the first one that Phil Edmonds has thrown up, and John Wright just gets in a little bit of a tangle there. Almost Yorks himself. Spun away past short leg for a single.
Surprised. It's a catch behind the wicket for French. The ball going straight on with Edmonds' arm, but behind the stumps, both Botham and French were extremely confident of that appeal. But with a quizzical look, Richard Hadlee retreats, caught French, bowled Edmonds for 6.
And this slightly quicker delivery from Philip Edmonds. Pushed on. In fact, it goes almost through the gate. Richard Hadlee seemed rather reluctant to go there, but it was beautifully taken by French.
John Bracewell comes in to bat.
Change in the attack. Graham Dilley coming off, and John Embry taking over at the box on left.
It certainly came off the pad. No question about that. Whether it also touched the bat is another matter. Harry Breen in recent times has produced consistently good pitches here. at the Oval. He's a very busy man too, not just making the pitches, but he's ground controller, looks after all the car parking and things like that. Both of them was going slightly the wrong way there.
Yes, this turned just fractionally. And Ian with his hands on his knees again. Definitely getting a hand to that. And down it went.
Embury has some reward. He had John Wright drop. Now he picks up Bracewell, caught by Athey just behind square. The ball spun, and it was good bowling.
John Bracewell caught Athey, bowled Embury, 3. And you can see that ball just turning enough. Bat pad, and beautifully picked up there. Tony Blaine, the New Zealand keeper, walking to the middle for the first time in the Test match. John Bracewell really just letting his bat get a little bit too far forward in front of his pad. Beautifully picked up.
Embury has just finished, and here's Phil Edmonds.
It's the 200 up. Single. John Wright. Taking him on to 92 via Alan Lamb's shin guard, I think.
Well placed. It's also quite well bowled by Phil Edmonds. He gave it a bit of air. Drew the batsman forward. Tony Blaine was good enough to get himself right to the pitch of the ball. Another good shot from Tony Blaine. Runs well between the wickets. Easy 3 for him. One more over bowled up to lunch, but no more runs. 209 for 7. Unbeaten on 93. John Wright, a splendid innings from him. He's doing just the right thing for his skipper and for his team. And 10 not out, young Tony Blaine playing in his first Test match. Doing very well indeed. Looks a well-organised young player. Knows exactly what he's about out there, and is not short of confidence either, and has played very straight. 209 for 7 at lunch. The bowling figures for England. There's nothing very disastrous there, but they'd like more wickets. Both of them 3 he picked up yesterday have remained at 3. 2 to Dilly, and 1 each for the spinners, John Embury and Phil Edmonds. Well, here's the first ball after lunch. Ian Botham has the new ball in his hand, the second new ball, and he's coming into bowl to John Wright.
So 4 runs off that first delivery with the new ball. And John Wright moves on to 97. Tony Blaine is 10 not out.
Well, that was hardly a ball to duck. That was a normal playback ball, I think. Still, he handled it pretty well, got out of the way.
Not to be underestimated, Mr. Blaine.
very much a batsman wicketkeeper. And one of the first shots you ever learn in school is the off drive.
You won't see a better one than this. Beautifully pure swing of the bat. The leg perhaps might have gone fractionally closer to the line for the copybook, but you won't see a cleaner, straighter swing of the bat.
John Wright on 99. Graham Dilly comes from the Vauxhall end. Oh, good stop. Oh, super fielding, marvellous fielding by England. And really and truly, I suspect, well, I'm not certain, that maybe a false call by John Wright to set off that sequence.
Marvellous stop by Graham Gooch. Followed by great presence of mind, a sort of backhand flick, which could have stranded, would have stranded Tony Blaine, and then quick thinking again, could have run out right.
John Wright, nervous 90s, 99, not out. He's going, and he's got there. Well done, John Wright. A little bit of patience required at the end, but patience, in fact, has been the characteristic of this innings. John Wright has been there since the start of play yesterday morning. His 5th Test 100 and his 2nd against England. It's 2:25 for 7, and John Wright has a century.
Interesting shot. It looks like the broom cupboard. No, it isn't. It's the New Zealand dressing room.
Yes, very well played. Played with the certainty of a man who's played that shot many times before.
Yes, and watch, the bat doesn't come across the line. The bat comes down very straight and is just flicked over at the last minute.
It's now changing the bowling at the pavilion end to take the ball immediately away from Ian Botham. The ball goes back to Gladstone Small, who took the new ball the first time round. Plays them well off leg stump. It's a fruitless exercise to bowl at leg stump when John Wright is out there. Very good timing to it, isn't he?
Yes, his whole stance and the way he holds his bat is all set up for this shot. Look where the bat's coming from. Closed, and then he stays on the line of it and just flicks it away. But I wouldn't say that there's any obvious place to bowl to John Wright. I think he's a very well organised player who can handle most things. A splendid stop by Ian Botham, quite an adventurous shot. Wright showing us all the strokes now. This was a fine late cut. Clipped down on it. Botham's gone to his right. Would have been 4, but turned it into 2. Just took the way off.
Just 5 more runs added to take the total up to 246 for 7. Splendid innings there from John Wright, 114 not out. He knew exactly what was needed in this game where England had to win to square the series. He's played very well indeed up to this point. Tony Blaine, very good support. 26 not out from him, 246 for 7. Well, that rain kept going. It absolutely threw it down for a long time. And the players, in fact, were off the field for 2.5 hours, during which time tea was taken. The ground staff worked very hard. The whale was out picking up excess water. The ground staff were throwing sawdust down. And eventually, they got back on at 5 o'clock. Here's the 3rd ball after the restart. Embury is coming into bowl to right, and no runs have been added to the total. Beautifully bowled. A lot of spin there. Got past the outside edge of John Wright's bat. Phil Edmonds is to bowl to Tony Blaine. Blaine is on 26. Well, if Alan Lamb had been quick enough there, he could have hurled himself forward while that ball was jammed between bat and pad. No man at deep square, so that's 4 more to John Wright. Up comes the 250.
Since John Wright's got his 100, he's shown that he's got considerable repertoire of strokes. That was the sweep shot.
50 partnership is up for John Wright and Tony Blaine. Took 133 balls, and it's been a very good, staunch effort.
Well, John Wright beaten by this one. Plenty of turn there. Brilliantly taken by French.
Well done. He's distinguished himself in the field on a number of occasions, Gladstone Small, both at Trent Bridge and here at the Oval. Good quick mover.
Tony Blaine's been a bit becalmed, and he went off for a single. John Wright wouldn't have any, sent him back.
Phil Edmonds, this time he's going to come over the wicket for the left-hander. See if he can pitch in that rough stuff. Wow, he's bowling with a toppy. .251 for 8 now, and John Wright's long innings comes to an end. A very fine performance from the New Zealand left-hander. Says good afternoon to umpire David Shepherd on the way out.
I wonder whether it was the first burst of sunshine that in some way disturbed John Wright's vision of the ball, or the way he played it. Really, the ball just appeared to go straight through. But whatever, the England tactics with the spinners has worked. The runs have been kept down, and they've got this all-important wicket. John Wright after a superb 100 for New Zealand.
This is the way Phil Edmonds accounted for John Wright. Well inside that, a matter of a couple of inches. 251 for 8 as Derek Sterling comes out. Just wide of Gatting, that short cover. Gower the fielder. Beautiful stroke and very well fielded indeed.
Gatting turns to Botham. Can Botham be the magic man he was yesterday? Well, we'll see. Hasn't had the same luck today. Did take the new ball, the second new ball, but was dismissed from that role after just 2 overs. Rather erratic overs as well. Still on the scorecard, he has those 3 wickets, and England desperately need now to drop the last 2 men and bowl New Zealand out. Was well bowled.
So I think Ian Botham was shouting for LBW then to begin with, just missing the leg stump, going down the leg side.
Perfectly good shot.
No man down there. England still desperately committed to attacking and keeping fielders up in catching positions, and Derek Sterling rather enjoying that situation.
First class square cut. Very fine shot indeed for a number 10.
Indeed, it was the shot of a batsman rather than a number 10. Sterling finished at 5 not out, and Blaine on 27. John Wright out for 119, bowled by that splendid delivery from Philippe Edmonds, the one that went straight on. 257 for 8 when they came off for bad light. The bowling figures for England, both of them had 3 yesterday, 3 for 58 he finished with today. And the spinners, Edmonds and Embury, did much of the work, apart from bowling well. With the first ball of the 5th over, 7 runs have been added. Ian Botham is the bowler. Taking strike is Tony Blaine.
Half volley, very handsomely struck, past cover point. 4 good runs.
Well, Mr. Blaine really does play some copybook shots, and this is one of them.
And the wicket. It's in the air, but it's dropped well short of Dilley.
Well, that was typical of Ian Botham, always striving something new to get a wicket. He went round the wicket, he pitched it up, then he dropped one short. I suspect that Ian Botham, now he's a bit fed up with Mr. Sterling still being there, because he's bowled to a lot better players than Mr. Sterling, and I think he'll really have a go at him now. He said, look, mate, you've been here too long.
Well bowled. That was a corker.
It didn't bounce very much. That's, I think, one of the problems for the batsman.
280 for 8 then. Dilley to Blaine. Playing with such unhurried confidence, you feel he could do it with a stick of rhubarb and one eye shut, Tom, don't you? Oh, beautiful catch. Tremendous catch off the middle of the bat. My word, what an achievement that by Graham Gooch, lurking near the square leg umpire. Nothing wrong with the shot except that it was a bit uppish, and Blaine has made 37. A very impressive effort for his side.
Yes, a fine performance by Tony Blaine in his first Test match. And out to an absolutely brilliant catch. Half volley, just outside the leg stump, and he clipped it away beautifully. And something that England were in desperate need of. And coming to the wicket, Ewan Chatfield, who playing in his first Test match on this tour because of injury.
9 down then, and 3 catches in this innings for Graham Gooch. That might easily have concluded the entertainment of this innings.
Yes, one of the things about bowling at number 11, you've got to bowl straight.
Goodbye. Chatfield caught behind by French off the thinnest stickle, and New Zealand are out for 287. After 50 minutes of play this morning, and Dilley has got his 4th wicket.
Very good effort indeed from Graham Dilley, and one that will give him a great deal of confidence for the future. Those 3 last men for New Zealand did a great job. Tony Blaine 37, Derek Sterling not out 18, and Ewan Chatfield 5. And the bowling figures dominated by Dilley, who picked up those 2 this morning, and he finished with 4 for 92 from 28.2 overs. and 4 maidens. Both of them the other bowler used this morning, 25 overs, 4 maidens, 3 for 75. Those 3 he picked up early in the New Zealand innings. So a very good performance from New Zealand to hang out for that long. For England, frustrating that they had to wait so long to get through them. Well, England sent in a new opening combination. Gooch has had 5 different opening partners in 6 test matches. This time, it was Bill Athey. We pick it up now with the 4th ball of the 2nd over. 3 for no wicket. Derek Sterling is the bowler, and it's Athey taking strike.
Over the top.
A little bit ambitious, this. Sterling generating a fair amount of pace. There's a lot of bounce there.
Not exactly under control, that hook shot by Bill Athey.
Listen, Bill Athey is a compulsive hooker. If he sees it down there, he's going to have a go.
Good half stop.
Evan Gray is the man in the gully. A very good half stop because Graham Gooch really clobbers those.
That's a fine shot. Right in position, rolling the wrists on top of the ball.
Super shot by Bill Athey.
Yes, and not very intelligent bowling this. I mean, he keeps banging it in halfway down, and Bill Athey getting in a super position there.
Just about what it deserved.
Well, both these England batsmen doing just the right thing. They're playing their shots. They've had plenty of opportunities, certainly against the short bowling from Sterling. So England 249 runs behind. I think the way the pitch is playing, they've got every chance of making up a bit of time.
Oh, well bowled, yes. Beautifully bowled by Richard Hadlee. Just got back inside the forward defensive stroke. That's why this fellow's such a great bowler, and why batsmen have so much trouble against him. Athey, LBW bowled Hadlee 17, brought into this test match as yet another opening partner for Graham Gooch, and disappointment for him now.
So Hadley's pitched it absolutely perfectly, just pitching off, hitting middle and leg, and Athey hasn't provided any footwork to counter that. Just played across his crease.
Gooch on 18. Gower coming in to face Hadlee. Not at the very best of times, just 12 minutes before lunch. What a nasty one to get first up. Absolutely on the spot, a bit of lift, a little bit of movement away from the bat.
Evan Gray, the bowler now, left arm around the wicket to Graham Gooch.
Oh, beautifully bowled. Super bowling, and they appeal to the square leg umpire for a catch and slip. Great uncertainty about whether that carried or not, and the appeal is turned down.
The fielder seems to be the least convinced about it.
It's a change of ends now for Richard Hadlee. Bowled his 7 overs before lunch from the pavilion end, and now it's a change to the Vauxhall end.
Up, and Gower just moving on to 3.
The ideal for England if they could play this innings much more like a one-day game. Need to get in first, but amazing how you can dominate when you pick up your singles. chance by Martin Crowe at mid-wicket. Truly middled it, and Martin Crowe flung himself upwards, rather like a goalkeeper, just going up to the crossbar, and the ball touched the fingertips.
Interesting response by David Gower, very nearly out. He didn't quite middle it. I mean, he was trying to hit that clear over the top.
This time it's a better shot, and very good tactics by David Gower.
Well, that not only shuffles the score along a little bit for England, but also just suggests to New Zealand that he's not going to bat there, with the fielders crowding around him while Evan Gray pitches in the rough. Oh, so close. That was a brilliant effort by Richard Hadlee. A lot of excitement out there from the New Zealand players. Just take another look at that.
Since lunch, this is the third time the ball's been in the air, absolutely just eluding New Zealand fielders.
That's high in the air. That's caught with great alacrity and certainty. Derek Sterling's the catcher. Very well bowled, of course, by Hadlee. The extra pace, the extra bounce. And he ran in and caught that like a rugby fullback. No hesitation, right under it. Caught Sterling, bowled Hadlee for 32, so Graham Gooch has gone the score 62 for 2. So Alan Lamb back in Test cricket. Played 2 tests against India early in the season. And a change of bowling, Ewan Chatfield. Very sad comeback to Test cricket for Alan Lamb, bowled for naught, but a brilliant comeback for Ewan Chatfield. It was a good ball, came back off the seam.
And Alan Lamb, who's just been pushing forward solidly, for some reason stops his forward stroke halfway through, and he would have been LBW, I think, if it hadn't bowled him. Mike Gatting finds himself in earlier than he hoped. England doing the right thing, trying to press the score along, but suffering at the moment.
That's a sweet way to get off the mark.
So very positive start by Mike Gatting. He is always at his best when he's going for the runs.
Ewan Chatfield bowling to David Gower. Gower looks in very, very good form today. He's played his defensive shots with a lot of time to spare. When anything loose has come along, he's hit it well.
Beautiful shot this. Ewan Chatfield not really quick enough to bowl a bouncer or one short like that, and David Gower getting right over the top of it. Beautiful pull shot for 4.
Very fine shot for 4. Beautifully over the top of it. Chatfield just straying in length.
This really is David Gower's wicket. Short, wide, all the time in the world.
Evan Gray to Gatting. Hundred comes up for England, and that's in the 32nd over. Quite a good striking rate, around about 50 runs per 100 balls. They need more, but it's a decent start, although they have lost those 3 wickets. Cracking shot from Gower, straight down the ground. Beautifully played by the left-hander. stroke. Beautifully timed.
Ewan Chatfield dragging this one down. David Gower in a beautiful position. Really middles that. And it just drops about 10 yards short of the boundary ropes and skips over first bounce.
Super shot. That's David Gower at his best. So elegant to watch and so powerful in the stroke.
And a superb stroke this. David Gower moving his feet, hitting that ball on the up. This is the ideal wicket to do this on.
David Gower's 50, handsomely played, well constructed with some lovely powerful shots through the covers and exceptionally strong on the pull. 50 runs of 72 balls. Graceful to Gower. It's beaten him. Following a succession of fine shots by David Gower.
No room for error in length here. Beautiful stroke off the back foot. Playing some superb cricket.
9 more runs added in the 6 overs up to tea. 134 for 3 at the interval. David Gower, lovely innings, 60, and he's unbeaten. Mike Gatting is not out, 16. A very fine effort from those two. After those first 3 wickets fell very quickly. The bowling figures for New Zealand. Hadley, the outstanding one, once again, although Evan Gray has bowled pretty well there. 10 overs, 4 maidens, none for 19. And at tea, the match situation was that England were 153 runs behind. Here's the 5th ball of the 2nd over after tea. 5 runs have been added. Hadley is bowling to Gatting. A quick signal of wide from umpire Harold Bird. It's a very quick ball.
Well, we don't often see one bounce as high as this. Oh, that's just gone miles over Tony Blaine's head. And Dickie Bird having no hesitation at all in signalling wide.
Brilliant shot. That also was a fast delivery. It didn't get up, but was much fuller length. Beautiful stroke.
Yes, I think there's a little bit of temper in this from both ends. Richard digging that one in, not bouncing too high, but Mike Gatting almost waiting for it.
Bracewell to Gower. And a shout there, but not really from the wicket-keeper. It was from the other close-in fielders. A little bit from Bracewell. In the air, safe at the moment. Absolutely stranded there in the stroke, David Gower, beaten in the flight by John Bracewell. No wonder he looks glum. He's miles away from it. .150 came up in 273 balls, and the last 50 in just 79. Good shot. All the frustrations of the first 2 days can disappear with some glorious stroke play of this kind.
Absolutely magnificent shot this. Quick foot movement, pitch right to the ball, crash through extra cover. Repeat performance, a little bit wider. And just came inside it and hit it past cover's left hand. And that's the 100 partnership. There on the balcony, Gooch, Doug Insole, Mickey Stewart, the cricket assistant, John Embry and Philip Sharp. Just with Bracewell being a little bit expensive, Jeremy Coney making a change at the pavilion end here. Ewan Chatfield coming back on.
Good start for Gatting. He's in the sort of mood where he can't afford to bowl short at him. That was 4 from the moment it left the bat.
Yes, he plays this short arm pull very, very well indeed.
What a little beauty. He absolutely flung the bat at the ball there. Foot wasn't to the pitch of it. But my word, didn't it go off the centre?
And this really shows what a good pitch it is. He's just put his foot down the wicket and flap right in the middle. He's dropping an extra man out for the hook. Martin Crowe has gone back just behind square on the leg side. And I don't know. It looks as though Richard Hadlee might have got a little bit excited. And I think there might have been a slight warning there from Dickie Bird about excessive use of the bouncer. There it is, the second in a row, and very, very high indeed.
Got away for 4.
At least the bowler and the batter are friends. But Dickie Bird very concerned about that. And he's following Richard Hadlee and having a few words, and that's really taken David Gower by surprise. He just got a glove in before it hit him in the head. It would have hit him in the head too.
Overthrow is going nicely, thank you. Well, worth the shine. Martin Crowe is the man who threw the ball. And that's Mike Gatting's 50. Quickly wanted the second one, but then safety first, and that's milestone enough. 200 up for the loss of 3 wickets. Evan Gray has bowled 12 overs and still very tidy stuff. At last he gets Gray away. Gray has bowled a beautiful length to David Gower, and he's also trying to drop in the rough ground outside the off stump, but then suddenly he's short and Gower makes no mistake. Yeah. The hit's what they call the perimeter advertising.
The moment this left the hand, it was almost certainly going to be 4 against David Gower. Give him room at this stage of the game, and he's going to really flash that blade at it. Despite Chatfield's accuracy, Jeremy Coney's decided to step in himself.
Well played, steered that nicely. 99, 100. David Gower gets his first-class century of the season. It's been a great joy to watch, full of the best of the Gower stroke play, absolutely in tune with the requirements of his team. Must be a very pleasant sight for him.
Good placement again, 3 there. David Gower's high score against New Zealand, his previous best 112, an unbeaten 112 at Leeds in 1983. Partnership up for Gatting, 200 partnership rather for Gatting and Gower. It started when the third wicket had gone for just 62, and they've produced some magnificent cricket out there. 298 balls it's taken them. That's 4 more. Beautiful stroke. Real fling the bat job. He's hit those right off the centre of the blade today. There was a magnificent 100 by David Gower, 129 not out at the close. Mike Gatting 86, well, he wasn't far behind him in expertise and power out there today. 281 for 3 at the close of play after those 3 wickets had gone for just 62 runs. The bowling figures for New Zealand, well, they took a bit of stick. John Bracewell, second from the bottom, 11 overs, 1 maiden, none for 51. Coney bowled just 4 overs. Evan Gray bowled extremely well, 18 overs, 4 maidens, none for 47. Hadley, the 2 wickets to fall early, and then Chatfield came in with Alan Lamb's wicket. At the close of play, England, a terrific job done by those 2 players who shared a partnership of 219. England just play now with the second ball of the second over. 2 runs have been added. Evan Gray, the New Zealand left-arm spinner, is the bowler. Mike Gatting is taking strike.
Oh, he dropped him. Mike Gatting was never to the pitch of that one. Almost a shot he'd dreamed up overnight. And thought, well, I must attack Evan Gray. And very first ball he faced, down he went. Just a shade of luck in Gatting's favour.
Well, this is, as you say, Tony, it was almost premeditated, that one. He got nowhere near the pitch of it. Good bowling by Gray.
It's Chatfield now to Gatting. And he gets a little bit of help. That's it, played on. So Gower goes just when England were wanting to really press along, trying to do it without quite getting in, I feel. Just 4 runs added today, and David Gower goes. Ewan Chatfield, the bowler, but still a marvellous innings, and this is the opportunity of quite a good crowd here at the Oval to congratulate Gower. Bo Chatfield, 131.
Well, this is fairly typical. There were plenty of moments on Saturday when that could have happened. David Gower took chances and they all came off. And this time, a little inside edge just happens to have gone right back on the stump.
His partnership with Mike Gatting, 223 runs. And the long-awaited return to Test cricket of Ian Botham.
This was a little wide, and Davis just played at the pitch of the ball, trying to square drive it, cross bat it.
So as Ian Botham comes to the crease, England are 2 runs behind New Zealand. Great expectations. I'm not sure if even Ian Botham can live up to the great fanfares for his return in the press. Evan Gray to Gatting. Short. And Mike Gatting says thank you very much.
Well, it's a very pugnacious Mike Gatting. He's not wasting any time. That's noble stuff. It takes a real effort of will to decide, right, I'm going to start cracking straight away. Good pull shot.
Another tremendous blow.
This one, he's just got enough room for this one, and it was a bit of a cross batter, but it's gone straight down the ground. So Mike Gatting just decided he's going to have a go at the spin.
Oh, super shot. A little pretty chassé, I thought. And then a very fine sweep. And what does that make Mike Gatting? A 100. Well played, the captain. What a triumph for Gatting. Come through a sticky start, and all the onus of being the first captain to lead a losing series at home against New Zealand, and yet he's got his batting together. Yes, beautifully placed.
Mike Gatting's footwork has been exemplary all through this innings against the slow bowlers, and here he's given himself room, and he's swung the bat so pure and straight over extra cover. Beautiful stroke.
Oh dear, yes, I think he's got the message. It's one of the sights that's been missing in England cricket, the sight of Ian Botham on the rampage.
Well, he wasn't going to be outdone by Mike Gatting.
Yes, good shot. Four more for Mike Gatting. Gatting now in his 6th Test century for England goes to 114. 84 overs bowled with this ball still to be Chatfield from the pavilion end. Coming in bowling to Gatting. Oops. By Gatting. He did himself then. He tried to dummy the bowler. I think he dummied himself. See, pretended to come and then stayed exactly where he was. Oh, just over the top. And not enough power in it to get there. Or is there? Yes, there is. Well, the only man certain of that was Mike Gatting. Scarcely bothered to run. Ian Botham was less confident.
Yes, that's what they call the pickup. And he didn't middle it. But he got it away for 4. Interesting, really, whether New Zealand will take this new ball. I mean, they don't want to attack, they just want to defend, and sometimes it's easier to defend with a soft old ball than with a hard new one.
Bowled him. And that's the reward for bowling. Absolutely straight line, a decent length. Very difficult man to slog, Ewan Chatfield. Even for Mike Gatting, who's in such colossal form. Superb innings by the England captain. Quick chat to him, both of them. What do I do now, Skipper? If he's ever listened to captains too much. I think he might be deciding how long they should go about this run chase, because they really have to get about the business of bowling at New Zealand. All that and a superb innings by Mike Gatting. Sure to get generous applause. And who knows, generous comment from Ted Dexter.
Yes, certainly a splendid innings. Always absolutely in tune with the requirements of the situation. He supported Gower well early, then he got going himself. Gone straight on the attack again this morning, the Monday morning. But praise also for Ewan Chatfield, who's bowled a very steady line the length here this morning under extreme pressure from the batsman, and has got his reward.
So England now 39 runs ahead. And if you were to guess how much that last partnership was worth, you might well underestimate it. 41 runs put on by both of them and Mike Gatting. They faced 38 balls. Right, the headgear suggests that New Zealand might well take the new ball. Certainly a change of bowling. Derek Sterling from the Vauxhall end.
Derek Sterling was pretty wild and woolly, worked up a little bit of pace early in this innings, but he was quite expensive, 6 and over, all but. And I'm really quite surprised, actually, that they've given Sterling the ball. I think it might just be meat and drink to him, both of them. Oh, we'll see.
Oh, yes. Not the worst ball, almost a Yorker again. To see the savage swing of those powerful shoulders.
Yes, on the full this time. Looks as though this new ball is being taken well. I'm really quite surprised at these tactics by Jeremy Coney, because as any batsman will tell you, if you're in on a good pitch, the harder and newer the ball, the quicker it goes to the boundary. Hadley to both of them is just coming up.
Clunk. Well, there's the start of the confrontation. It's a beautiful batting track. Botham has gone to 19. Hadley has the new ball. And away it goes right off the middle.
Yeah, well, Liam Botham had the room for the shot. And he's certainly got the meat of the bat on that one.
Ooh, what a good shot. Straight from Trentbridge, just as though he's caught the train down, walked onto the oval here, and smeared it away past cover point.
So anything Ian Botham can do, Embury can do just as well. And you really watch this onto the bat. He's a steady batsman, Embury.
Interesting choice by both of them there, electing not to take the single and getting the nod from Embury. But both of them is going to have another go at Sterling. He's got a bit about him, Derek Sterling. He's not going to curl up and allow both of them to call all the tunes. That's good leg break, delivered at fast medium pace. Both of them had every right to look slightly nonplussed there. Well, Tony Blaine has the problem here. It's a hell of a ball to have to catch. He circled around it, and I doubt very much if he even touched it in the end.
Well, the problem with these, and this one in particular, has gone straight up above Tony Blaine's head, and he's not able to ever get away from it to judge where it's going to come down. And he really has gone round and round in circles and hasn't laid a glove on it. So this was the big hit by both of them. If he hit it, it would have gone down to the oval road, and both of them thought about going, and then after a while he thought, well, he's never going to catch that. Well, he shouldn't blame himself. It was one of those when they go straight up above your head with that amount of spin off the edge. They're desperately hard to locate and catch.
Now they're going to allow both of them the single. Men have gone back on the offside. Be up to Embury to take what singles he can, or both of them to build it around on the onside.
Yes, there was large open areas on the leg side, and I thought Ian would be aiming for those wherever the ball pitched. It was short outside the off stump, and I think he'll keep aiming there. There's still plenty of room in the long on region. I think he'll be going for that one now.
They'll take the single. That suits everyone. Both of them called for it, said yes, he'd take it, and Hadley allowed him to do it. .350 came up with that onside boundary from both of them. The last 50 in just 48 balls. Now they're trying to save the single. Now they're going to look for two, and they get it easily. Got that right off the meat. That's a beautiful shot. That wasn't all that short.
Well, this is superb because he didn't have much room to play this one, and I think it, in fact, left him a little bit off the pitch, but I think he'd already picked the spot because that was the one remaining area where there was no boundary fleet.
For both of them, the field spreads again. There is some room on the offside square of the wicket for him. That's just where he's hit it. Good shot. Ball's been flying right off the centre of the bat today. 364 for 5. Now Botham's 38, Embury 6. And at point goes deeper, but it's not quite deep enough. Straight out, not quite into the road, but probably only stopped by the scaffolding. Fabulous hit. That's one of the longest parts of the ground. Up down on the diagonal.
An enormous shot, this. Slanting down the leg side, beautifully picked up. And in fact, it landed in the bar, just behind the scoreboard at long leg.
This will be good experience for Derek Sterling. He won't have come across anything like this for a while out in New Zealand. Some 10 yards short of the boundary, and one of the bits of experience for Derek Sterling will be to keep the ball up. Fatal to drop it short just because you've been hammered.
Yes, not a great piece of bowling this, and Ian Botham having all the time to get inside it. And one of the noticeable things then was that neither of the fielders, long leg and fine leg, saw that ball at all. It's not the easiest field to pick the ball up against the background of the crowd.
The old head of John Wright was in there talking to Sterling. That's more like it. Just needs a bigger boundary, that's all. 50 for Botham. Faced 33 balls, 32 balls Botham faced, and hardly anything came from anywhere but the centre of the bat.
And this is a tremendous blow. I think Ian was waiting for it to be pitched up. He picked it up beautifully high over long on, the longest boundary on the ground. Just to show he's human, he's missed one.
There's 54 runs for Botham. All but 6 of them have come after the take of the second new ball. He had a 2 and a 4 with the old ball. 48 with the new one. And the light is worsening here. Wind is increasing. Forecast is not great. Straight away over cover. Coney had brought the 2 men in on the offside, which was almost an invitation for Botham. They say there's a gale sweeping up from the southwest of England, which seemed to have arrived a little early.
In the form of Mr. Botham. They brought 3 or 4 men in to try and save the single there, and very sensibly Ian Botham took the 4 runs, which was on offer.
24 runs from that over. Shot from John Embury. He got 3 for it.
John Embry catching the mood. Short one. Short arm pull.
Just one more run at it from 2 balls bowled before steady drizzle came across the ground here at the Oval, and that drizzle later turned into heavy rain. 388 for 5 when the umpires went off the field. 131 to Gower. His was a sacrifice today, trying to force the pace. Mike Gatting, bowled by Chatfield for 121. He played some magnificent shots today, and the whole of the innings today and on Saturday will have given the England skipper a great deal of confidence. Both of them 59. That was quite magnificent. 59, a super performance, coming in, playing just the right sort of knock, and he smashed Sterling and every other bowler out there and pushed England along to that total, just 12 short of the 400 mark. John Embry with him on 9. The bowling figures for New Zealand, they all suffered out there at the hands of first Gatting and then Botham. Hadley 2 for 92. Even the great Richard Hadley took some stick in those circumstances. Sterling 9 overs for 71. Chatfield came out of it very well. 21 overs, 7 maidens, 3 for 73. Evan Gray took some stick, none for 74 in 21. And the match situation at the end of the 4th day, and that drizzle later turned into heavy rain. 388 for 5 when the umpires went off the field. 131 to Gower. His was a sacrifice today, trying to force the pace. Mike Gatting, bowled by Chatfield for 121. He played some magnificent shots today, and the whole of the innings today and on Saturday will have given the England skipper a great deal of confidence. Both of them 59. That was quite magnificent. 59, a super performance, coming in, playing just the right sort of knock, and he smashed Sterling and every other bowler out there and pushed England along to that total, just 12 short of the 400 mark. John Embry with him on 9. The bowling figures for New Zealand, they all suffered out there at the hands of first Gatting and then Botham. Hadley 2 for 92. Even the great Richard Hadley took some stick in those circumstances. Sterling 9 overs for 71. Chatfield came out of it very well. 21 overs, 7 maidens, 3 for 73. Evan Gray took some stick, none for 74 in 21. And the match situation at the end of the 4th day, with the rain still belting down, England 101 runs ahead. Well, that, I reckon, is going to be enough. They must close straight away tomorrow. The forecast is not great. It's not quite...
Today and through the night, it's marvellous we're getting any action at all. The light is not too bad.
Potatoes. 388 for 5. England, that was their declaration point. It's cracked by John Wright. Pass point off Ian Botham.
No wicket. Here's Richie Benaud.
Well, they'll get 3 for that, providing they want to take full advantage of the situation. It's very difficult for them out there in the field. That surrounding area on the square is going to be quite damp, and the total as well.
Off.